So we had about $1 trillion taken back out of the market on Friday on that big drop. You can see here on the daily chart, big candle in here, high of 566 at open, and then just crashed. We had a low of 555.07. We actually closed at 555.66. So going forward, we're basically stuck back in this channel here between the 550s and the 556 area. That was a big level for us going into Friday session to kind of keep an eye on, because especially you had this doji here with this indecision. Didn't really know if that was going to say, hey, it looks like the 566 held, let's go, or if it's just going to drop and the bottom's going to fall off it. Obviously, the bottom came out. The 9-day EMA got rejected harshly in here. So going forward, we're kind of stuck in this channel here, 550s and 556. It looks like that we're going to probably pop and then hit a resistance here of 560 and pull back, and then we can bounce off the 550s again. But that's just kind of me looking at this daily chart in here, not really sure what could happen, but really 560 and then 565, that's going to be your next resistances. We know that for sure. But if we hit the 560s, are we going to have to pull back to the 550s before we go? That is going to be the question. Obviously, big pullback, your RSI went down, your volume went up. That's kind of to be expected in here on the daily chart. But really, 565, that's going to be the major level for us. That's kind of where the 9-day EMA is kind of sitting right on. So we're going to see once we do climb back above here or get close to the 565s, we're going to see if we can hold it back, hold in here, and then work our way to that 575 level. If we look at our Qs, probably going to tell us the same exact thing that the spiders are doing, which is going to be that big red day. Yep, that's what happened. And then also in here, harsh rejection off that 9-day EMA. And you can see we're kind of back in this channel here, 472 and 466. So right around a $6 channel, the Qs are trading in. And that's also the channel that we were trading in back in mid-March. And then at the beginning of March as well, you can see that we are stuck in here for 3 days or so. Got out of it one day, boom, right back in it, and then kind of stuck. And then we kind of climbed out of it and then stayed here for about a week or so before we obviously kind of tanked back in here. So basically nothing crazy in here. This is what to be expected in our Qs when our spiders are doing the same thing. If we look at gold, all-time highs in here, obviously, but are we respecting our trend line? Yes, we are. So this is to be expected, right? But this is what we want to look at right here. We're worried about this indecision candle here. So gold might be tipping us off right here, saying, hey, guess what? You had that big pullback on Friday, but we're neutral in here. Don't really know exactly what we're going to do. We're indecisive. So therefore, we might pull back here to this 9-day EMA right around that $280 level. And then if we pull back, then obviously the market will go up. So Monday, that's going to be something to watch for. Are we going to get a gap and go in the market, which will mean this GLD will kind of revert back to the mean here and come back down and sit on that 9-day EMA. That is going to be something to watch. RSI extremely overbought in here on some volume as well. But again, candles not really helping us out a lot up in there. If we go finally to our bonds, we're looking in here basically a gap up. That's kind of what's to be expected on a big pullback. Gap up, green, we're above the 9-day EMA, and then really not a whole lot of anything. So good news here, your bonds and your gold are both kind of telling us the same thing. We might be overextended here on that pullback Friday, and we might get a jump in here on Monday or Tuesday just to kind of suck that volatility out in the market, climb back up. That would kind of confirm what we just said in our spiders, where we said, hey, might go up to 560 first before we go back down, right, to the 550s. And it looks like that's what gold and TLT is telling us in here. So really nothing crazy in here. This is basically what we expected in all of these. When you're trying to looking at a full market overview, your spiders and your Qs are going to trade the same. What are they saying compared to gold and your bonds? Your gold and your bonds are both saying, or your gold is basically saying we're all-time highs, but we're respecting the trend line. Indecision there. TLT saying, yeah, we got that positive drift and the pop, but we really didn't have that big of a day. We're barely holding on to this 9-day EMA in here. It looks like we're going to come back down and try to gap fill down here sooner rather than later. So 88.84 and your 91.29 is what you're looking for here on the TLT. That's going to be your 38.2 and your 23.6 fib levels here on the daily. So that is kind of what we're looking at. That is what we're kind of seeing, what the market is telling us. So again, we're going to revisit our spiders here once more on some volume. Obviously, that big drop RSI is getting close to oversold, but it looks like we might get a pop here, 560, then back down to the 550. So that wouldn't be crazy at all to think. But again, 565 and the 550s, that's the $15 channel that we're going to be expecting that to stay in here for the near term future. And we'll see what happens this upcoming trading week. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you're interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.